Are you happy? Are you living the life that you thought you were going to be living when you looked ahead as a child or as a teenager, when you were building this existence? And what would younger you think of it? It's easy for us to tell ourselves, like, oh, I'm fine. I'm just kind of accepting what's going along. We're going along with life now, kind of deal. Um, but that doesn't mean we're happy about it. Especially if you're like me and you grew up in the 80s and 90s knowing that the future was going to be amazing and it was going to be wonderful and there was all kinds of like progress, political progress, and economic and scientific and medical and everything. And then we get here and realize like, wow, it's still it's still just life. And there's a part of me that feels like something was stolen along the way, right? The dreams of childhood were taken from us. And I wonder if other generations feel the same way, and I'm sure that they do. But it's clear that we're going into a difficult cycle as far as the world is concerned. And I just want to check in and see, like, how are you doing with yourself and all of that, right? Do you carry guilt or shame for where you ended up versus where you thought? Um, I've been through a lot of stuff in life, and I will definitely say that I have been places and done things I never would have expected. And the person that I am today is not who I imagined when I was younger. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. The most I've ever piloted is systems in 10 stores kind of deal. That's a tech joke. But the point is all I've ever jockeyed was a desk, never a fighter jet. And it's kind of not cool, honestly. It's kind of not cool. I wish that it was different. At the same time, I'm very happy with the life that I currently live. The problem comes down to the path that it took to get me here, right? And I think it's easier if you're happy with who you are now, but not happy with who you used to be. At least you have a good, solid foundation to work from. If you're just unhappy with who you are and you're unhappy with how you got there, then there's a lot of work to do. And I'm not going to pretend to be any kind of like therapist or anything like that. I'm not trying to fix everything for people. I'm just trying to show you all that it's possible. That if you put in some effort on yourself as a person and be real honest with yourself about you and the world, then you can make a big difference in your life. A decade ago, I went through a lot. I was mentally ill and out of mental hospitals, and I ended up quitting my job to go live in a van on a mountain. And I did find myself. But even then, the 10 years since then has been a whole lot of taking that like nugget of knowledge and building on it. Like I still had to build a life. Even if you get the answer, it doesn't change the fact that you have to do the work. And a lot of folks, we keep our heads down because it's threatening to our path if we decide to be honest about it. Like for me, by the time that I got to where I was honestly like, I'm not happy, I was at the end of my rope because every time I had like an inkling of I'm not happy, I just put my head down and kept moving forward. I was married, I had a kid, we had a house, had a job. Like these things are important, and you're told that if you do these things, if you get family, house, career in order, then you're going to be happy. But the simple truth is that's it's not even no guarantee, it's far less than a guarantee. And so by the time I actually looked at my life and who I am, um, it was too late to do simple fixes. I had to completely re envision who I wanted to be as a person and then be really strategic about making that happen. And for me, it's things like I wanted a partner who had a similar sense of humor and got along with me very well, and we really understood each other, and there weren't crosswords just because we were different types of people. I wanted a job that fulfilled me, which I did have for a while. And then I wanted to do something meaningful with my existence. And that's where things like this come in. I want to leave something behind in the world. It's not because I think that I'm special. Look, we all have our desires and our dreams for various reasons, and we don't need to defend them. And I don't need to defend sitting here talking. I'm just doing it. And I'm hoping that somebody finds something good in there. Because I know a lot of folks my age are struggling. I know a lot of folks of all ages are struggling. There is no age limit on difficulty. Okay, and that's one of the things too. Like I thought at some point I'd get it figured out and it would be smooth sailing, but life just keeps dropping things on us. Literally, a tree fell through the center of the house a year and a half ago during a tornado. Only tornado in like decades in this area hit my house. What am I supposed to take away from that? I don't know. It took a year to get back in here, by the way. And I look at the difficulties as they compound, and it's the kind of stuff that could really make me unhappy. And to some extent, it does make me unhappy. Um, Short term. Long term, I'm still happy because who I am as a person. And so let's stop and talk about what happiness actually means. Like, I'm not thrilled all the time. I still deal with depression or negative thoughts or down days that it's hard to get out of bed, it's hard to motivate myself, it's hard to eat, you know. Um, but what I mean is when I look at who I am today versus who I was 10 years ago, massive night and day. Even the past 5 years, I'm a completely different person. I'm more calm. I know where I'm headed. I feel more secure on the inside. And that's some of the things we'll talk through in future videos is how to actually do that, right? Um, the way that I look at myself is so different. And that has made me a much better person because if I don't hate myself, then I don't hate other people as much. I mean, sometimes you still do, like in traffic and the grocery store and whatnot, but a happy life takes holistic living. I have to focus, I have to be well rounded in every area. I can't just overdo like one thing. Like I see previous me, overworked on career because my family life wasn't what I wanted. And then I ended up with neither. And the truth is I'm not saying I could have fixed my family life, but I would have been more in tune with it and handled things differently, and it would have ended differently versus the like way that it went down, which is not great. And I know that a lot of folks watching this have been through divorce. And you know what? I'm sorry. I really am. Because there's nothing that changes you quite like realizing that the person that's closest to you doesn't like you anymore. And frankly, vice versa in a lot of cases. Um, and if you're like me, you had to like figure out who you were as a person. You know, and a lot of us accept a lesser role. And that's what I want to be cautious about. Like, is we reevaluate ourselves. Let's not make ourselves smaller just because the world is hard to fit into. Um, there's things like, again, like with the house, with work, with things that have happened in the past few years, even negative things, like specifically negative things, requires a level of personal resilience. I get knocked down, I get back up again. Never going to keep me down. Isn't that right? And so it's hard. I'm going to be honest. It's hard to be the kind of person that I want to be. And it's going to be hard for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. But that's okay. It's worth it.